Gentlemen, here is why you should absolutely stay single during your 20s, during your hustle times, okay? Because you're really trying to make yourself something of yourself. And here's the big key that I want you to understand. In your 20s, you're really still figuring out where you want to go in your life. Okay, I've had a bunch of relationships myself, but it's about knowing how to manage them. And ultimately, I think for the large part, it's healthy to get in some relationship, but it's a large part, it's very important to have those single times if you're still in your hustle times. Now, it's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody in their 20s. Some people, it might be in their teens, etc. So that's interchangeable. However, the real point is that you don't want to rely on something external to give you all those feelings of comfort, love, and happiness. Okay? And obviously, a relationship is healthy for you because it does give you those feelings and those dopamine things, and it's good to be social and stuff. However, if you're doing that in a period where you're really still trying to figure out where to go in your path in life, it's much harder to do that when you already have a steady source of comfort, of love, etc., of validation, these types of things. Because you have to prove yourself a little bit less, okay? Now, if you don't have that, you really will need to cultivate good emotions and good feelings by doing your purpose, by being alone, by doing your shit, by growing, etc., okay? So if you eliminate that steady source of those feelings I just mentioned, you're really going to be dependent on you and just on you. And that really builds character, that builds a sense of direction, that builds a sense of independence, and that builds a sense of, not needing external validation, so that when you actually get into your next relationship, it is actually going to be healthy, okay? So you got to understand that when you're really on your purpose as a man and you're trying to make something of yourself, then you got to be extremely focused, and you got to be in a position where you are, as I said, really dependent on yourself and your own feelings. So a small kind of caveat towards this point is an example of like doing a lot of alcohol or, overusing caffeine or something, right? Those types of things also make you rely on a stimulant, on an external thing to make you feel good on the internal. And you really want to develop the muscle that is going to allow you to make yourself feel good, to make yourself control your state. Now, here's my point. If you rely on an external stimulant, you're never going to learn that, that trait of like making yourself feel good, but also you're not going to learn what really makes you feel good, right? If you need coffee, I'm not saying you can never drink it, but if you need coffee to be able to work, you're probably doing the wrong thing, right? You're probably doing something that you really don't actually enjoy. And you're probably not going to be aligned on the purpose and on the path that you should be, right? So if you eliminate something like that, right, a stimulant like that, you're probably going to find out very quickly like, oh, this is what I actually should be doing, because your emotional state is not being hyped up and pumped up. Because for the people that don't know here, coffee drastically increases the level and amount of dopamine that stays in your brain, okay? So it makes you feel good, right? But if you drink coffee and do your work, and drink coffee and do your work, you're going to build a very positive association towards your work or towards the activity that you do right when you drink the coffee, but that might not be what you actually want. So you might get through external stimuli to a 7 out of 10, where if you were doing the right thing and using coffee, you might get to a 10 out of 10, or even without coffee, get to a 9 out of 10, right? So you got to understand that those external stimulants, sometimes they do have a place. However, it's probably not going to be in your 20s. It's probably not if you are not very set and clear in your direction, your purpose, and you're very full in your own cup. You got to fill your own cup first before you start adding other flavors and sugar and tea and shit like that into your little cup of water there. Okay? It's very important to realize. And from there, you can start building yourself up, you can start building your life up, you can be content, and from there, you can get into a relationship in a much more healthy place, okay? In a much more mature place, and a much more grown place. Now, I'm not saying nobody should get in a relationship. I've had multiple relationships myself, but it's like, it can't be the main thing. You gotta keep the main thing when you're in your 20s, when you're a guy, when you're trying to get somewhere. And from there, you can make those decisions yourself. And from some people, it might be later in life. For some people, it might be earlier in life, etc. You got to stay in the hustle state, okay? So hope that helps, my friend, and go crush it.